Hello.
Oh, hey.
How are you? That's my podiatrist.
What?
Yeah, the club podiatrist. I grew up around footy. I was really lucky. I had a really supportive family. My dad had a footy in my hand since I was pretty much learnt to walk. He put 2 goalposts in the backyard for me when I was a kid, and I just pretty much spent every hour outside kicking the footy. So I've always loved it. We were massive Tiger fans growing up, so I used to go to all the games with him. It was kind of our thing that we shared together, and I think that's why I really loved it growing up. It was something that I could do with him. I've been around since the first ever AFLW season back in, I think, 2017, so drafted in 2016.
Entering round 19, with pick 142, the Carlton Football Club select Bec Privitelli.
And Scotty was our backline coach, so I was actually a back at the time, a very bad back. I wasn't going to survive long if I stayed as a back. I was very quickly pushed into the forward line after that, but I've always had a really good relationship with him. I've always thought he's an incredible coach. Jodie, his wife, has always been so welcoming and incredible, and we all love her. So when I heard Scotty was coaching the club, I was pretty keen to come down and meet with the Swans, because that was a pretty big draw card for me.
She was able to get the block off the ball, and here's an opportunity for her to make her own history. Privitelli.
We've never seen a giant come across town to the Swans in the men's game, but we see it tonight, and Bec Privitelli with the history-making goal for the Sydney Swans in the AFLW. There is the reply.
I think I've really changed over the years. I think previously I was someone that needed to get really up and about, but I think as I've gotten a little bit older, I kind of like the really chill vibe. I guess probably an hour before the game. Once we kind of are getting ready to go out, then I want the music and I want to hear Taylor Swift pumping. But up until that point, yeah, I kind of chill. I'm very routine based with a lot of things that I do in my life, but I definitely, the first thing I'll do when I get there is go out on the field by myself and have a kick. Take a few shots of goal and then come in, do all my prep, and then Sophia's my little kicking buddy before every game, so we'll go out and have a bit of a kick together, and she'll hit me up on a few leads. That's kind of something we've done over the last 2 seasons now, so I love having her out there. It just puts me in the zone.
The chain.
The chain, yeah.
What's the story behind that?
So Scott this pre-season has talked a lot about links.
We put pressure on the links, what happens? No, we all stand up together. So it doesn't break. Doesn't break, mate. So what we've got to do, when the chain gets bent today, because it will, because they're a good side, okay? They're a contested side. It's going to feel like they're putting pressure on it, but you just got to hold faith that your mates are going to look after you today.
And just the importance of how every single player plays a role within our team, essentially is what it means to us. So we have 32 links for 32 players, and we speak a lot about, if one of the links has any kind of fractures or isn't operating the way it should, then it can affect the entire team. So we're really big on every single player has a really important role to play within our team, and it doesn't matter if you're the 21 getting picked or you're the 11 or 12 that aren't. You still have a really important role to play, and we can't be the best we can without everyone playing their role for our team. I think we're really lucky that we've built a really strong connection as a group. I'd like to think that everyone in the team feels really cared for and supported, and at the end of the day, anyone that's not getting picked is making the entire group better, because I feel like the way the girls rocked up in the last kind of week leading up to round 1 and trained and pushed each other to be better it kind of goes to show, 1, where our depth is in the team, but 2, you've got to keep playing well to keep your spot in the team. And I think those girls are so important to us getting better this week. So that was really pleasing. But yeah, I think our connection is so strong that I don't think it matters if girls are or aren't getting picked. The relationships will always be the same, and the mood and the environment around the group will always be the same, and that's really important for us. I think when you're led by someone like Tom Harley, who's just an incredible human, and he's really proud of both teams. I think that has a really significant impact on the group. I think women's footy is still viewed differently outside of our four walls to some extent. I don't think there's a disparity within it and within how our program is viewed within the club, but I think naturally when you do speak to people, people do see it differently still, and I see it a lot, you know, in my job as well, I guess. Just with having conversations with people who probably haven't been around much women's sport before, and I think their view on women's sport is definitely shifting, but I think it still has a long way to go, which is a real shame though, because I think anyone saw the sacrifices our girls make across the competition, and I guess in any women's sport to play the game, like the way we train, our preparation, what we put into it is absolutely no different to what a men's team would put into their footy careers, and I hope as the game grows, more and more people will see that. I'm usually where I am right now. With my crew, I'm usually the junior, so this is a junior man seat. So a day at the fire station, come in 7 a.m, we'll relieve the crew that were on before us. We'll do some station duties, just check the equipment. We'll normally head out and just do a few chores for the station, or if we need some equipment fixing, then we'll head home. Sometimes we'll do a drill as well. If there's anything we want to refresh our skills on, we'll do that then in the mornings, and then head back to station, have some lunch. We often like to do a bit of a gym workout in the afternoon just to make sure we keep fit, and then kind of wait for the bells to go off. Firstly, the aspect of working within a team is probably like my favourite part of both, and I've got an incredible crew at my station, and obviously an incredible team. So yeah, I think there's plenty of similarities in terms of working with a team and how important communication is within that team, but also having a really clear understanding of what your role is within that team as well. I think there's yeah, plenty of similarities between the two. I think I wanted to join the brigade because, well, firstly, I think with footy I've learnt that you can have a real impact on other people, and that was probably one of the biggest drivers in joining the brigade. I've said this, but you deal with people on their worst days sometimes, but you can have a really big impact on them and their lives. So I think that's probably the biggest driver in that. I don't want to sit at a desk all day. I feel like there's so much more purpose and value that I can give, and I'm really fortunate to be fit and healthy and be in a position where I can do this job, and I thought it would be a bit of a waste if I wasn't doing something that I knew I was going to love doing. I think I've always known I needed to do two jobs just because of where I've come from, but if football was in a different position where I could have made a full-time income from the age of 18, then I think joining the brigade would certainly be something I'd want to do, but it would have been after my football career. But I feel very lucky that I get to do both in this period of my life, because there's not many people that get the opportunity to do two things that they love. So I don't necessarily think our crowds last year were just off the back of what the Matildas were able to do, but I think it definitely created a buzz around women's sport and how good it can be. And I think it's a very different environment coming to a women's sporting game. The crowds that we get are really different. If you come to one of our AFLW games, like the best thing I love seeing is like a young kid with their mum or dad at the game. Like that's just my favourite. Puts such a smile on my face because they don't see it any differently, and I think that's really special. I certainly think the club did an incredible job at getting so many fans down to our games, but I definitely think it created a bit of a buzz and a bit of a movement behind women's sport for sure.
Yeah. Do you think that there's is there a hope or a wish for like young girls coming into sport in the next generation? Like, is there something that you wish was different for them?
I think I just wish that they were not. I wish it's the same. Like, I wish there was no difference between men's and women's sport. They're not seen as women's or female athletes. They're just seen as athletes. I think that's what I'd love to see with the next generation, and I have no doubt we'll get there.